and welcome to Little Likac podcast. This is episode 25, which is really exciting because I was thinking about that. If this is episode 25 and I have been podcasting pretty regularly fortnightly, and that means that the next one will be our anniversary podcast. So yes, 25. I did think about doing something special for this one because I thought it was a nice round figure, but actually I'm going to wait till 2 weeks time because that will also be the anniversary of me opening my Etsy shop. I can't believe I did all of that pretty much at the same time, or certainly my first sales on my Etsy shop. So yeah, 2 weeks time I'm going to do a big celebration, probably across YouTube, Instagram and my Etsy shop. So watch out for that because there'll be some giveaways and things going on and maybe discounts. So yes, so episode 25, welcome. My name is Amanda. Today is Sunday, March the 20th. I always have to double check the date. Yes, Sunday, March 20th. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. Normally I try to record my podcast on a Friday or Saturday, but this weekend was pretty busy and I was out all day yesterday. I'm preparing for being out all day yesterday. I was preparing kind of things for that on Friday evening, so there was no way that podcast was going to happen. So yes, instead I'm recording at 9 o'clock this morning. I'm also having to record this on my husband's iPad because I left my iPad at work. So I probably won't be able to put in photos very easily or anything like that, because all my photos will be on my camera roll. And yeah, okay, so this podcast may not be edited quite in the same way with photos and things, but anyway, it's great. My husband very kindly said, yeah, you can use my iPad, and downloaded the iMovies app for me so I can edit it at least. So hopefully we will get this up today, so at some point on Sunday the 20th of March. So yes, anyway, welcome to my podcast. This is a knitting podcast with a bit of crochet as well. My name is Amanda. I live in Derby in the UK, very much in the middle of the United Kingdom, in the middle of England. And I live here with my dog, Stu, who sometimes makes an appearance. He is currently just sat outside the door. I film my podcast in our garden office at the bottom of our garden, and the door is just there, and Stu is just sitting out there enjoying some quite nice weather. We've even been for a little walk this morning. Those of you who are regular viewers, and thank you so much if you are, will know that Stu has not been well this year, and but yes, he's got something to say. But he's been out for a little 10-minute walk with me this morning. He actually went and sat by the door, so I was actually quite keen to go out, which he's not really been bothered about for the last few months. So we've just been out, enjoyed this spring sunshine. It's beautiful out there. It's almost given me my running mojo as well, actually. I almost want to go out for a run in that, but actually today is going to be so busy, I don't think that's going to happen. I've got the podcast to record. I've got school marking to do because I am a teacher as well, a secondary English literature teacher, so I've got marking to do, and also the eldest daughter is coming back from university today, so my husband is driving up to York this morning to collect her and bring her home, and she'll be home for about a month, which is lovely. It's been really lovely to see her, and I know she's got lots of exciting things to tell me about and talk to me about, so I need to get as much marking done before she gets home so that I can spend some time with her. I also have my other daughter, my youngest daughter, still lives at home with us. She is at college, or not today, she's not. Currently she's still in bed. She had a dance competition yesterday, she had a dance competition last weekend, so she's a bit worn out today. I'm letting her have a lie in. Yeah, so yes, live here. I've got one chicken currently, only got one at the moment. Hopefully this summer we will get some more again. And yeah, so shall I get on with it? So yeah, I'm a full-time teacher, do that full-time. I am also run an Etsy shop where I sell hand-dyed yarns that I dye myself, and I sometimes, well, once a month I go to a market at Newark and go to the artisan craft market there and sell my yarns. And what else do I do? I would say I'm a runner, but I'm not at the moment. What else do I do? I'm sure I do other things as well. I'm always busy. So I have got lots to show you, actually. I have got lots to show you. I've got two proper full-on finished objects, which you can see, two full garments. I have some little finished objects to show you. I've got a new cast on, which is a test knit that I'm doing to show you, and a little bit of progress on a few other whips as well. So thank you for subscribing. I've had some new subscribers again this last episode, which was amazing, because I'm going to be really honest and say the episode before last I had quite a flurry of new subscribers, which was lovely. Thank you very, very much. And I was like, oh, suddenly got some new subscribers. And then I filmed last podcast, and when I was editing it and watching it back through, I really thought it was quite a boring episode. I was kind of like, all my new subscribers are going to go, wow, this is boring, and unsubscribe. Well, maybe they did, but I got some more new subscribers, which really surprised me, because I really thought my last episode was quite uninteresting, probably because I didn't really have any finished objects, and so everything I was talking about was stuff that I talked about in the previous episodes. So thank you so much if you have subscribed to my channel in the last couple of weeks. Really appreciate it, and thank you to those of you that come back every fortnight and watch me. It's so lovely to know that there are those regular viewers, and those of you that leave comments as well. I mean, I didn't even specifically say last time to leave a comment about anything, so it was still really nice when people, and I really appreciate it, because I know when I'm watching YouTube videos, you know, I do comment on some, but I don't regularly comment on every video I watch. So I really appreciate it when people comment on the video, so thank you and say hello. Right, so yes, and of course the other thing that we are on the last week or so of the knit along for the Love Note sweater. So if you are working on that Love Note sweater and you've not posted anything about it yet, either on the Ravelry thread, then if it's a finished object, post it in the finished object thread. If it's just that it's part way through, post it on the chatter thread on Ravelry, and you can post on Instagram with the hashtag Likac no, what am I talking about? Likac Love Note Cal. And the reason why I say Tin Can is obviously it's a pattern by Tin Can Knits. So yes, we are on the last week of the Love Note Cal. So there are some lovely, I was trying to sort of take a guess at how many, not very many. So if you enter, you've got a really good chance of winning a prize. There are 2 prizes available. One prize is a membership to the April Little Likac Mystery Yarn Club, and that will be a full 100-gram skein, a mini 20-gram skein, and all the little extras that will come with April's edition. That's the word I want. English teacher, and I really struggle with words these days. Anyway, yes, so you can win a membership to the April edition of the Little Likac Sock Club, or the other prize that is available is a pattern of your choice from the lovely Penny Bacon Knits. So she has, check out her website. She's also on Ravelry, and I think she's on PayHip. So check her out as well. Penny Bacon Knits. She has some lovely patterns, and you can win one of her patterns, your pattern of her, pattern of your choice from her designs, as part of the Love Note knit along as well. Right, okay, so let's move on to finished objects, and we will start with what I'm wearing, because it is finished. The colour block sweater, which is very much kind of an autumn sweater, I know. So this colour block sweater I've been working on since autumn. I started on it, and then it kind of hibernated for a couple of months while I was working on Christmas projects, and then I kind of picked it up. Surprisingly, I picked it up in the spring. I sort of said, oh, this will probably get left now till the autumn. I did put it on my Make 9 because I wanted to finish it, but then actually I found it really good sort of TV knitting, and because I've got quite a lot of other complicated things on the go, this was like the main one that I had that was just pretty much stocking stitch, so this actually got worked on quite a lot. So the pattern, this is what I mean about I normally I put a picture of the pattern up here, but the pattern is this one. So it's King Cole, pattern 5795, in a double knit, and yes, I used this pattern to do the design, but the actual yarn that I used was from, why has the name gone out of my head? I've said this nearly every podcast for about the last 4 or 5 months. It's not Woolly Witchcrafty Lady. Oh no, that is so bad. I've remembered it every time. Witchcraft. Hopefully, if I get it all working on my husband's iPad, I will put down below the name of the lovely lady on Etsy who sold me this yarn. So you can see then it is blocked in. This is really weird as well because I'm getting notifications coming through, and normally I can see the notifications come off my iPad, but it's not my iPad, so instead they're coming off my watch, and nothing important. Right, I should have switched it off. So yes, you can see I started in this sort of maroony colour, dark green, purple, silver, and then finished with this green. Look, I put earrings in to match this green. Oh, my clever. Now originally what I did was I bought 2 skeins of yarn in this dark green, this purple and this grey, because the Etsy seller was selling that as a kit, and so I got 2 100-gram skeins of each of these. But then the lovely lady sent me the maroon and this green as freebies as well. So then I've got 5 colours, but I'd only got 1 skein of this colour and 1 skein of this colour. Oh, dog is barking, sorry. Hang on, let's see if he wants to come in. Stu, do you want to come in? Or do you want to go back inside the house? What's up? What's up? Doesn't know what he wants. We'll see. So yes, so because of that, because I'd only got the 1 skein of this colour and the 1 skein of that colour, I made sure that I knitted, used those skeins for the bits that were going to take the least amount. I've used up all of this. I have still got maybe about 20 grams of this colour left, and I have got quite a lot of these 3 colours left actually. So not sure what I'm going to do with them. It's double knit. The yarn is a Poledale, Falkland Poledale yarn, and I normally have all of these details in my head and they've just gone out of my head today. I'm wearing it, I don't know how long if I'm going to wear this through the whole podcast, because as you can imagine it is quite warm. Sorry. You coming in? Come on, stop messing about. Good boy. Come on. I'll have to edit this out, sorry. Come on. You coming in? You don't know what you want, do you? I haven't got anything for you. I'll pretend I have. Is this cheese? What's this? What's this? He's not stupid. Okay, I might have to pause and take the dog back in the house because he doesn't know what he wants. Now I've got the window door open. You coming in? Right, I'll be back in a few minutes. Right, yeah, sorry about that. So what I was saying is I don't know if I'm going to wear this all the way through the podcast because it's quite warm, but having said that, it's quite cool in here, so we'll see how it goes. It's really comfy. It is definitely more of an autumn winter jumper. My husband said when I finished it and I tried it on and I showed him, he kind of looked at it and he went, yeah, but it's not very spring or somewhere. I went, no, this is definitely more of a winter jumper, but I'm glad to have it finished and off the needles because it means I can justify, what was I going to say? Putting another sweater on the needles. I will stand up. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it. Haven't taken any photos outside or anything like that in good lighting with it yet either, so there's no sort of proper finished object pictures. And I don't think I'll be able, well, I won't be putting any on the podcast today. But if you follow my Instagram, hopefully at some point in the next week I will put up some nice posed finished pictures. So, but I will just stand up in it. So you can see, it's got a really nice length actually, it comes right down under my bottom. Okay. And then we say we've got the maroon, the green, the purple, the grey and this green. Yeah, as I say, I wouldn't have necessarily chosen this green to be the top piece right next to my face. I probably would have gone for this silver. I would have maybe, yeah, but as I say, I had to use either the maroon. I definitely didn't want the maroon right next to my face, so I think this works okay. And as I say, the earrings go quite cutely. So yes, so that is my King Cole colour block sweater that is finished. Okay, so second finished object. Ta-da! This is the Carmencita or Carmencita cardigan, designed by Anne Hannsen. And this was a test knit that I did. And so I was working really hard on this, and I was getting a bit worried about whether it was going to be finished in time for the deadline. It was actually finished with a few days spare, even with the buttons on. So this is knitted, this is knitted in a commercial yarn, this is knitted in a commercial yarn, Sirdar Click DK, which is 70% acrylic and 30% wool. And I'm going to be honest and say I think that has caused a few issues with the cardigan. So if I'm really honest, the button band, probably, maybe I needed to pick up a few more stitches because it just pulls up a little bit. And of course, if it was 100% wool, I'd be able to block that out. With it being 70% acrylic, it doesn't really block out. It does look nice on, and I have put some photos on Instagram of me wearing it. If I can send those pictures through to my husband's camera roll, I will try and put up a couple of pictures of me wearing it. I really do like it actually though, because excuse me. So yes, I said last podcast that I'd gone off it because I wasn't sure how well it was going to suit my body shape or my fit. It's actually really flattering because it's rib and stretchy. Again, I was worried that it was going to kind of stretch over all my curvy bits and actually make me look too curvy. Phrasing that carefully. But actually I really like it. And then also I wasn't sure, I'm going to be honest and say the yarn doesn't feel the nicest in comparison to a lot of softer wools. Or even softer acrylics. It doesn't feel the nicest. So, but I wore it to work, to school, over a dress I think it was, and I wore it all day. And not once did it feel itchy or uncomfortable. And I actually had quite a few comments and compliments on it, which was really nice. So let me tell you a little bit about it. I'm really thinking I ought to turn my notifications off. I'm going to put my phone onto airplane mode, so that I don't get disturbed, because I'm conscious I'm constantly looking at my watch as things come through, and then that's really off-putting. Yeah, so sorry. So let me tell you a little bit about the construction. It is knitted in one piece. You start, it's obviously not knitted in the round, it's not steeked or anything like that, but it is knitted in one piece. So you start at the bottom, you do this little bit of ribbing, then you do this patterned ribbing, so that's all just one huge piece knit forward and back. Then you split for the sleeves and then up each front and then each back, and then you join the shoulder seams, and then you pick up the stitches around the armhole, and you do a whole load of short row shaping to do the top of the sleeve, and that was something new to me. I mean, I've done short row shaping, but I've never done it like on a sleeve like that. And then you knit in the round, and I must admit the sleeves did feel a bit painful. Now I also confess that last time I forgot to go down a needle size for the ribbing on the sleeves, on the cuffs, but actually because of the way it stretches out, it really didn't matter, so that was fine. Then you pick up the neckline, and then the neckline is actually folded over, and I do really like that neckline. And then you pick up the button bands, and then you can place as many buttons as you like. And then these buttons that I've used, aren't they cute? These are actually some vintage buttons that I had bought back on eBay many years ago. I'd bought a bit of a job lot of cards of old buttons from probably like 60s, 70s, 80s. And I suddenly realised, because I was thinking, oh, I need to get buttons. And I was like, I like to, if I'm going to go to pick buttons somewhere, I like to take the finished garment and put different buttons on it and lay it down and choose. And I was like, this needed to be finished for the Saturday, and I hadn't, I was trying to work out when I was going to have time to go and try to get to a shop which had a good range of buttons. But then I remembered about these in my stash, and I thought, well, let me have a look to see what I think. And actually I think they finish off the cardigan really nicely, because they pick out the green in the yarn. So yeah, so that is the Carmencita or Carmencita. The pattern is now live, definitely on Ravelry, and actually I'd say check out Anne Hannsen. She has loads of designs, because as a reward for test knitting, you know, I got the option to pick one of her patterns, another one of her patterns as a not prize, as a sort of like payment for test knitting the pattern. And I really couldn't choose. There were so many. I've chosen kind of a spring summery t-shirt top, actually, with a lace yoke, which I'd like to try and knit this year actually, but she's got some lovely designs, so I would say check her out. So yeah, that's two big finished objects. Really, really pleased to have got both of those completed in the last couple of weeks since I saw you. Right, and now I also said I had a few other smaller finished objects, and a couple of weeks ago I showed you a gift set that I bought for my mum when we'd been to visit my daughter in York, and I bought her this lovely gift set of soaps, and I also said that I bought some of them for myself. So, smells so lovely. This is rose and poppy seed. My younger daughter said, she said, oh, it smells like Turkish Delight, rose Turkish Delight. I said, oh, it does. So I said that I was going to do some scrubbies, some soap bags to go with that those soaps, and then get it posted off. So I was like, I really must get around to do that. And actually I have done 3 of these little bags. So that's one of my soaps. So you can see then that the soap will fit into that scrubby bag, and then you can tighten up the drawstring and then use it in the shower. But I decided to do a little set of them. So I've actually done 3. I did these 2 yesterday. I did this one sort of last week just to sort of test out the pattern, and it's perfect. And I'm using up some cotton that I've got, some Sirdar 100% cotton that I've had for a long time in my stash, double knit. So I've done 3 of those. So those are going to get packaged up. Really simple pattern off of a website, a soap maker's website actually. I'm going to check out their soaps because they look rather lovely. So I'm going to package those 3 scrubbies with this beautiful set. I think that's a really nice Mother's Day gift. I hope she's going to like that, and get that sent down to my mum. She has very sensitive skin, so hopefully those soaps are going to be perfect for her, and then these 100% cotton scrubbies, so I really hope she likes it. So I'm going to be sending those to my mum, and that's another finished object. 3 of these little the pattern is, pause, bear with, I'll edit out me looking it up. I'm so sorry that today I can't remember the names of patterns. Normally I don't even need to write them down. Normally, oh, and of course I've gone on to airplane mode. Okay, so hopefully I've edited out the 30 seconds of me looking on my phone and scrolling through. So it's called Soap Folk website. Okay, so Soap Folk is the name of the soap company, and so they've got a free pattern on their website for that scrubby. And I think also, I now feel like also I should check out their soaps as well, since I've used their scrubby pattern. But these are Yorkshire Soap Company that I got them from. Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, that was another finished object, proper finished object. Then I also managed to get another square done on my blanket that I'm working on, and this blanket is for my parents-in-law. Now I've got to remember which one is the most recent. I really am rubbish at the moment, aren't I? What's my most recent one? Must have been this one. Everything seems to be covered in hairs at the moment. So this must be this blanket. This is my Stitch on Sunday blanket. I'm not just stitching on a Sunday. The designer is Kelly Menzies. I've become quite a fan of her designs over the last 12 months. I only discovered her about 12 months ago actually. Yeah, last April I think. Was the first time I discovered her. April or May, and I've knitted quite a few of her patterns since then. She's lovely, and also she has a podcast, so she's just, I love watching her podcast. She's so funny, really makes me laugh, and hopefully I'll be meeting her soon as well. Excuse me, because she was saying about how she'd never been to a yarn show, which I was really surprised about, that she'd never been to a yarn show as a big designer. And then so she'd said about wanting or suggesting arranging to meet some people at a yarn show so that she didn't feel like she was on her own, and there were quite a few other people who said the same thing. So hopefully I'm going to meet up with her at Yorkshire Yarn Show in May. But yes, so this is the, I don't know if I'm holding it upside down. Who knows? Maybe that way up. Oh, they look like hearts. Maybe they're supposed to look like hearts and I've only just noticed. Anyway, so I've done another square on my blanket. I am using Stylecraft Special DK, which is a classic for blankets, certainly classic for crochet blankets here in the UK. So I'm using Stylecraft Special DK. I've only got about 5 squares done on that, so that needs a lot more work. But that is, oh, look, love this design. This bag design is Emma Ball. Really, really cute. I got the bag from Peak District Yarns in Tideswell in the Peak District, which is not that far from me, less than an hour's drive, her shop. Okay, so yes, those are, I think, all the things that I would class as being finished. So I'll show you what else I have been working on. I have done a little bit of progress on the shawl. Not very much, but a bit. So last time you saw this, yeah, see I've only done a couple of inches. So last time you saw this, I was working on this stripe section, and now I've started adding in this lace. So this is the same lace pattern as that, but as you can see, I'm doing it in, well, it's charcoal. It's actually pretty much black. It's a very dark grey. It's pretty much black. So it's going to have a small patch of lace here. I'm halfway through this section of lace. Then it has more stripes, and then it will have a bigger section of this lace to finish it. So in theory, I haven't got much left to do, because I've probably only got about that much left to do. But you know, when you get to 400 stitches on a needle, it takes a long time just to do one row. So, but it is the Rock My Shawl pattern by Melanie Berg, and I am knitting it in the Adriafil Impero, which is sport weight and is really squishy, really lovely, really soft. So not much to show you on that, but we're getting there, we're getting there. Once I've done that lace bit, doing the stripes again then is a fairly straightforward knit, comes TV knitting, and then, as I say, there'll be the last bit of lace to do. Okay, how are we doing? All right, I think. So now I've got another new cast on to show you, and this was something that I had mentioned before, that I had seen Kelly Menzies on her podcast a few weeks ago showed a sock design she'd started, and I just fell in love with the design. I just saw it, and actually, interestingly, the stitch pattern on the sock, part of the stitch pattern is the same as that, and I don't know if that's what attracted me to both this cardigan and, well, it is. I really love this stitch pattern, and it's quite an easy stitch pattern actually. It looks much more complicated than it is, I think, and it looks really pretty, really effective. So the sock design had that stitch pattern, and she was knitting it in a very pretty pastel-y pink, and just excuse me, just a week or two before that, I had been down to Shropshire, and I had been in the shop of another Kelly, actually, Lay Family Yarns, and Kelly, who runs that yarn business. And I had been looking in her shop, and I had seen this yarn and bought it, thinking that I would probably do a shawl with it, although, as I've said before, I don't actually wear that many shawls. So yeah, Lay Family Yarn, and this is her Ironbridge collection, just a 75/25, and it was in the colourway Vlogmas, I think. Why can't I see? I swear this was called Vlogmas, and yet now I can't see a colourway written on it. How weird. I swear this was called Vlogmas, and yet I can't see why I think it was called Vlogmas, because I cannot see a name on it. Maybe the other one was called Vlogmas. Anyway, it was in her bargain bucket. And I just fell in love with it. And when Kelly showed the pattern for her Most Ardently socks, I knew I knew that this yarn was just going to look beautiful in it. And so I was waiting for her to release the test, and it was, sorry Kelly, but this was really useful for me. She had a few issues with her the sizes and the patterning, and so she put off the test knit for about another week, which was great because I was working furiously on the cardigan to get finished the cardigan, and so the timing worked out perfectly. Literally, I cast that off. Sorry, I cast off the cardigan on the same day then to start the test knit for these socks. So Kelly's misfortune was my fortune. And then, unfortunately for her as well, she still then had a couple of issues with sizing, but that's what test knits are for, which also then meant she's extended the deadline on the socks by a little bit as well. So it's all worked out very nicely for me. Thank you very much, Kelly. So let me show you what I mean about, and it's just knitting up so beautifully. Look at this. Do you not think that this is absolutely perfect for this yarn? So this is a beautiful pattern, as I say, similar. It's got the same stitch pattern coming down here, but then with some extra bits down there. I'm not going to give too much away. It is just, it's not the fastest knit, but it's easy to remember. It's not the fastest because, as you can see, it's kind of a form of rib, so you are moving the yarn back and forth between in front of the needle and behind the needle. So that makes it, for me anyway, slower. I don't knit continental, I knit English style. It's got a slip stitch heel, heel flap and gusset, which is my favourite type of heel to do. I'm quite comfortable with it. I don't have to think about it really. Although obviously when I'm test knitting, I do make sure I am following the instructions. I don't just go with what I think it's going to be. And which actually is interesting because this one was slightly longer than I would normally do, which means that the gusset is slightly longer, but I've tried it on and it fits fine. So you'll be pleased to hear that, Kelly, because I know that getting the fit right was important for you. So yeah, when I'm knitting a test knit, I do make sure, even if I think I know what the pattern should be, that's the whole point of doing a test knit. You are testing somebody's pattern for them, so you have to you know, I think it's really important that you follow that pattern really carefully and you don't just do what you think it should be, and if you think there is something that should be different, you contact the designer and say that, and they'll either come back to you and say, no, that's, I want you to knit it like this because that's how, you know, or they'll say, oh yeah, thanks for spotting that, I'll change it. So talking of test knitting as well, actually, I've done quite a lot of test knits now myself, and although I've only had a few designs, obviously I have had people test knit my own designs, so I really have got some idea now of what it's like test knitting for both as a test knitter and as a designer, and I kind of know from a designer point of view what I need test knitters to do, and I'm very conscious of that then when I'm test knitting. And I actually spoke to my friend Penny, who's a designer, and we're going to, excuse me, we're going to record, I'm going to do like a bit of an interview with her, and we're going to have a little bit of a chat and pop that on a podcast soon about test knitting, both from a designer and a tester point of view. So if you're interested in knowing more about test knitting, we're going to do a little segment on that in a few weeks' time. I'm really excited about that, but we're going to record that in Easter holidays. So yes, so this is Most Ardently is the design, and Kelly has named it from a line from Pride and Prejudice. So it's a really pretty design, really pretty lacy sock. She's also, the actual final pattern, she has designed this, written the pattern, cuff down and toe up, and she's written it for a full length leg, thank you, and also a shorty, and she's done that both again, cuff down and toe up. So if you like this design, when she releases the pattern, which I think will be in April, you're going to get 4 options. There's lots of options, and so if you do the toe up pattern, it's got a different heel, so you can do cuff down shorty, cuff down full leg, toe up shorty, toe up full leg. So there's 4 options effectively on that pattern that she's going to be releasing in April, so look out for it. It is just beautiful. So I'm halfway through the foot, so this will be finished very shortly. The test knit says for it to be finished by the end of next week, so there's no issue with that. It'll probably be finished in the next couple of days, in fact. When the second one gets done, who knows? But this first sock will definitely be done in the next few days, really. So that is beautiful. So I was just looking for my little needle cozy. Those of you that watched the episode from a few weeks ago, I was saying how I lost a needle out of my bag. So I'm really desperately trying to remember to use my needle cozy to put needles in each time. Somebody actually, though, when I said about needing some more needle cozies, somebody put a recommendation for an Etsy seller called Little Workroom Crafts. And I did have a quick look actually, but then I did find that I have got some needle cozies. But I did have a look at Little Workroom Crafts, and I also discovered that she's got a podcast, and I've watched a couple of her podcasts. She's lovely. She is so bubbly, so just enthusiastic, bubbly, full of energy, and really full of laughter. And so I've watched a few of her podcasts in the last couple of weeks, and you just can't help but smile. She's just like so lively and bubbly. So yes, I can't remember what her actual proper name is, but she's on she might be on Ravelry, but she's on YouTube as Little Workroom Craft, and I think she's got an Etsy shop as well. So yeah, check her out. She's really, really fun. Okay, this is just an extra little segment. I have finished the podcast, and then I was packing everything away, or getting everything ready, and I realised that I had missed out a work in progress, and that is the stripy socks that I'm knitting. These are my car socks that I keep in the car, and obviously you can see last time I was up to here on the second sock, and I'm now halfway down the leg. So yeah, just a quick insert to give you an update on these socks as well. So not much to say about them. They're the vanilla sock. I always keep a pair of vanilla socks in the car to work on when I'm waiting around. These are knitted from a sock blank that I dyed at a dyeing workshop last summer. So yeah, I just thought I will insert that in. You can see I'm starting to pack away, and also I think about a funny angle. So okay, there's a little additional work in progress that I've been working on as well. Right. So I think, is that all the looking around, because I think that's everything knitting wise to show you things I've actually completed. I've also got some acquisitions, and I've won something as well, so I'm going to show you those. But the first little acquisitions was, I did my usual thing. I was in a charity shop. Always have to check out the craft section of the charity shop, and I found a few nice patterns actually. I did keep saying that I'm going to try and get some baby knits done this year, not for necessarily any particular babies, but just so that I use up some stash, so that I've maybe got some things available for either to send to charities to sell on, or for when colleagues at work announce that they're having a baby, I've got something prepped. Yeah, right. But anyway, look at these. Aren't these cute? Really cute little patterns. So I picked those up. Both DK, both Sirdar. They will be knitted flat, which doesn't bother me, especially not when it's small baby patterns. So picked those up, thought they were quite cute. But I must have been feeling in a cabley mood, because obviously both of those got cables. I like knitting cables, I just think they're magic. And also saw this vest top as well, which is in 4-ply, and again, cables. Might do that for me, might do that for Eloise, my eldest daughter. It's also got that style full jump. I don't think I would knit that though, but I'm thinking definitely, I know that my daughter Eloise would love a vest top or tank top in that style, so that might get done or might not. 50p a pattern though, I picked them up, and I was really pleased with those. And then I have also won a competition. So I actually won this competition back in the middle of February, and I've been waiting for the prize to arrive before I talked about it on the podcast, because I wanted to show the prize, and it has just arrived this week. So this was from the lovely Rachel, who has a podcast called the Crochet podcast. Very popular podcast. She has quite a lot of followers and viewers, or a lot of followers and viewers, and she did a giveaway on Instagram. She's doing a cone along make along, which is nearly at the end now actually, and so because she was into this yarn company called Woolly Knits, and she kept buying their yarn, which they sell on cones, and she sort of like became obsessed with like buying these cones of yarn. And so she did a collaboration with that company. They sent her some of this yarn as prizes for doing a knit along, and she said that she was going to do one of the prizes she was going to give away at the start of the knit along. And it was just a giveaway on Instagram. It was one of those, you know, like, subscribe, follow, etc., and leave a comment. And one of my friends tagged me, so I left some comments and won. And then Rachel sent me some pictures of the different cones of yarn. So I got a choice, and she'd put them in little bundles. And so I chose this little bundle of 3 cones. So I've got this pink. This one I think she's called Lupin, and this one which is sage green. So I picked these 3 together because I thought maybe I could do something colour work, and I think there's about 430 grams in total. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to be able to do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anything full size for me, maybe though. So it's arrived, which I'm really pleased about. I've not used this one before. It's just described as British wool, and actually it says 100% new pure wool on it. There is no other information on this at all. So I've gone onto the website woolyknit.com, and it's described as a light fingering weight, but I think Rachel said that it does sort of bloom once it's been washed. I'm going to assume, because these are like random, they've got slightly different weights on them, I'm going to assume that these are perhaps like left ends of cones, or something like that. I don't know. I don't really know much about the company, other than it's, you know, it's British wool. It does feel quite rustic, so I think I'm going to have to swatch and wash and block and see how it feels, because at the moment, I'm going to be honest and say, it feels a little bit rustic, but I know lots of people rave about this yarn. So my first impression, the colours are lovely, don't get me wrong, and it's a prize, it's free, so, you know, woohoo. But my first impression at the moment is, I don't know that I would want to wear that next to my skin. So I think I need to swatch and wash, block, and see how it feels. And like I say, also, there's just 0 information on the wool bands as well. But I do believe that it's very reasonably priced, and maybe, you know, I wonder if these are ends of cones from machine manufacturing of some sort, of machine knitting maybe. So I think if you want a good amount of yarn at a good sort of budget price, I think they're pretty good. But at the moment, I'm not sure what I'm going to knit with them. As I say, I thought I was going to do colour work. I think it's got about I think Rachel said 430 grams. I haven't weighed it myself, because I'm not sure then if that takes into account the weight of the cone. So we'll see. I love the colours, really love the colours, but at the moment, not 100% sure about the feel. If you've used this yarn, please, if you have used this yarn, so it's Woolly Knits, 100% pure new wool. If you've used it, what's your experience with it? Does it bloom? Does it come out to be slightly bigger? Does it grow with washing? Does it soften? Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't soften, then I think it's going to have to be kind of hat and mittens or something. I don't know. I just cannot see me wearing this next to my skin as a jumper like I am this. Just can't see it. And I've been wearing this now like an hour, and I don't feel too hot in it, and it's not itchy. It's really comfy actually, so I'm quite happy with this. So yeah, those are my acquisitions. So some cheapy patterns and some freebie yarn, so all good. So the last thing then really is to give you a bit of a life update and a little bit of a shop update. I'll do the shop update first actually, because I do want to show you March's yarn that I did for the Mystery Sock Club, because it's my favourite and I love it. And I know I shouldn't say that when it's my own yarn, but I really love this one. So this was Sleeping Beauty. So the Little Likac Mystery Sock Club is based around fairy tales, and I did promise something special for this, and this is Sleeping Beauty. Now what I actually based these colours on for Sleeping Beauty was the Matthew Bourne, who is a ballet choreographer and producer. I do really like going to the ballet. I have two daughters that dance and have danced since they were about 2 years old, and have both been quite heavily involved in ballet as well as other types of dance. And over the years I've come to really appreciate ballet. And we have been to see a couple of Matthew Bourne productions, and when they did Sleeping Beauty, they did it as kind of like a dark gothic-y vision. And that's what I had in my head. Now I couldn't actually use that, excuse me, I couldn't use that as a mood board to put on Instagram or anything like that because of copyright issues. So instead I found another picture that had sort of similar vibes and similar colours. But actually, if you've got this yarn, if you Google Matthew Bourne Sleeping Beauty, you might see there where some of these colours came from as well. So yeah, so if you had the sock club this month, you got the 20 gram skein. This is the 85% merino, 15% nylon. You also got this stitch marker, which is a spinning wheel, of course, for Sleeping Beauty. And because it's Sleeping Beauty, you also got a couple of sachets of sleep tea bag, and also a sachet of lavender as well, which aids sleep, and of course the colours just all worked beautifully. So that was this month's, and I have got a skein of this for myself. I make sure I dye one for myself each month as well. So remember, I said that if you take part in the Love Note knit along, one of the prizes is the April month. So, but I don't know what I'm going to knit with it. I really don't know, because it is a sock club. You know, in theory it's a sock yarn club, and I could do socks with these. I could do a shawl, but as I said before, I don't know how much I do wear shawls, so I'm not 100% certain what I'm actually going to knit with it. Don't know. Maybe a hat, because I could do maybe the rib of the hat in that. That would be enough, and then do the hat. Maybe a hat. But yeah. Anyway, I really, really love this one. So that is an acquisition to myself, from myself. And then I have, I did a couple of others. This is also on the 85-15 base. And this is called, what did I say I was going to call it? I thought of Under the Sea, but then I think I came up with a different name, and now it's gone out of my head. Maybe we'll stick with Under the Sea. Okay, so this one's called Under the Sea. Sure, I came up with another name for it. So this is called Under the Sea, and it's made up of greens, turquoise, teals. It's got blue speckles, quite a lot of blue speckles in it. And this is on the 85-15 base as well. It's really squishy. There's 2 skeins of that going into the shop this weekend. Just needs labelling. And this one, which doesn't have a name. Now this is coming up on the screen much more turquoise than it is, much bluer than it is. It is much more of a sort of a greeny blue in reality. So when I take photos of this, I've not photographed this for the shop yet. When I photograph this, I'm going to need to make sure it comes out. It is more, you see, if I hold it up there, you can see more of the green to it. It is more of a greeny blue. But that's coming out much bluer than it actually is. It's definitely much more of a greeny blue. So when I photograph that, I'm going to have to photograph that quite carefully to show that it's more of a greeny blue. And that hasn't got a name yet. So professional, aren't I? So professional. Yeah, and I can't even ask you guys to name it because you can't really see the colour of it properly. As I say, it's more of a greeny blue than it's showing on the screen. Although if you've got a great idea, pop it on. Hopefully they'll have named it and put it in the shop by the time you're watching this. Okay, I'm looking around like I always do at the end, so let me just do a little bit of life updates. So as I said to you before, last weekend and this weekend mostly dominated by my daughter's dance competition. I was just saying about her dancing. So last Sunday she had what did she have? She had a couple of solos and a trio, did really well with those. And then yesterday we were down at the dance competition at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning to start performing at 10. And she did a lot of ballet stuff in the morning. She had a ballet solo. She's got this most beautiful tutu that she wore in the afternoon. And then she was due to do a load more troupe dances yesterday evening. And I have said before that my daughter has an issue with her heart. She suffers from something called SVT, and unfortunately last night, literally minutes before she was due to go on stage, literally minutes, she had an episode of that, which meant that she couldn't dance. It also meant that we had to go and find the nearest A&E, which we were not in a city that I know, so we could have called an ambulance, but in my experience in the past, ambulances take too long. So we packed everything as quickly as we could into the car, and I said, come on, let's get you up to A&E to get it sorted. And actually, thankfully, literally we were about a mile away from the hospital when actually the episode finished, and at that point we don't need to go to hospital. Once the episode finishes, we can just go home. So that's what we did. But I just felt so gutted for her, absolutely gutted for her, because she had got 7 dances to dance in the space of about the next 30-40 minutes. She'd been waiting around a few hours. Her last dance had been like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we've been hanging around. Of course all of her teammates were ready to go. They then went on and performed, and they got 2nd and 3rd, which was amazing in one, and then I think they won 1st and 2nd in the next. So, but I know that she was upset because not only was she not performing, but it meant that the other performers had to organise themselves around the fact that she was missing from those sections. So I know she was really upset. But then once she knew how well they'd done, I think she felt a bit better in that respect, that she knew that it hadn't caused them any major problems. But yeah, so it's just upsetting. I think I told you, well, I know I did mention on the podcast before, back in the autumn, that she had an operation or procedure to try and stop this thing from happening, and unfortunately the procedure didn't work. But we'd had nothing, she'd had no other issues with it since November, and then last night she did, so it was a bit upsetting for her. So, and I'm definitely an emotional eater. I definitely get so. Anyway, so that was last night. So it was all a bit stressful and a bit upsetting, and then got home. Work is very, very busy, and it's going to get busier. And yeah, I don't really think anything else major exciting has happened or is happening. As I said before, Eloise is coming home today. That is nice. That is exciting. So we'll have her at home for 4 weeks, which will be lovely, and then she'll go back up to uni, and that's it. So not a lot to tell you life-wise, but look out in the next couple of weeks. I will be putting stuff together for little Likac to celebrate our 1st anniversary, and that will be the 1st anniversary of the podcast, the 1st anniversary of the shop, which is really, I can't believe that will have been a year. So thank you for your support. If you have liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Please leave a comment, say hello. If you don't already subscribe, it would be amazing if you do click the subscribe and the notification button. Yeah, that would be awesome. So thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Hope you've enjoyed all my finished objects, whips, and probably we'll have some new cast-ons next time I see you. All right, thank you for watching. Bye.